Annunciation Latin class, Capitulum Tridecim, Annus et Menses, Grammatica Latina. So let's start with the Oratio Initialis. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. All right. So for today, a couple things. Miscellanea.
Does the prayer count against you if you hiccup all the way through?
Um,
Ah,
not no, as long as you do it with a Latin accent, you're okay.
thank you. I got that. I can even roll the R's.
Yeah. Anyway, vocabula. I sent out a CSV file with most of the vocabulary for all the chapters we've had so far. I've done this a couple periodically. I'll send this out. It can be located into Excel or Numbers, or whatever spreadsheet for study. And if you look at it, you know 642 words, at least according to it. Now, that doesn't really count all the declension and conjugation forms. You actually know more than that. But those are all the root words. And if you look at 642 and divide by 13, it's about 50 words a chapter. So anyway, use it for reference and review. It's good to read through those words periodically to kind of refresh your memory. So with that,
Michael, can you hear me now?
yes.
Okay. I seem to have resolved the problem.
Oh, and interesting, the echo went away.
I think that it had something to do with my computer, which was telling me that my speaker wasn't working. And I don't know what I did to make it work. And I think so. Anyway, sorry about the interruption.
Oh, that's all right. Glad to hear it's working.
At least now.
Yeah,
I turned off my cell phone. It may have had something to do with
I
that.
suspect that it was playing off one or the other.
Right. Right.
Your speaker was not working on the computer, but your microphone may have been, and that's what happened. So,
Yeah.
all right. In chapter 13, we get the fifth declension, declinatio quinta. Declinatio quinta, postrema declinatio est. This is the last declension, or sorry, declension in Latin. There's only 5. So you have nunc habemus omnes declinationes. You now have all the declensions. And one of the interesting things about the fifth declension is plurima nomina declinationis quintae sunt femina. Whoops. No, that's right, neuter. Yeah. The most nouns of the fifth declension are feminine. Okay. In fact, really, they all are. Dies is kind of a funny noun. It is sometimes masculine and it is sometimes feminine in various documents. In the time of the Familia Romana, it was probably mostly masculine, but in the Vulgate, it is definitely was always feminine. So it's a pretty easy declension. Looks a lot like the third declension, except for the some of the singular forms there. So, in fact, here's an example. Yeah, the fifth declension. Yeah, they had something about the dawning of the age of Aquarius and up in their beautiful balloon. So, anyway, dies brevissimus est ante diem octem calendas Januarius?
Okay, I already have to ask because every time my granddaughter Naomi teaches me to count, when I get to 10, I either say Dios or dies. So now I'm confused which, and she always gives me a hard time because I say number 10 is God, and I know that's wrong. But dies means
Day.
it doesn't mean 10,
It
right?
doesn't, no, that's decem. In Latin, uno, duo, tres, quatuor, quinque, sex, septem, octem,
It
nonam,
won't help. I
decem.
can't, I can't, I can't repeat it in Latin or in Spanish. And every time I say the number 10 in Spanish, she laughs
Well,
because I've said God.
yes.
But
Dios,
not if you say decem.
A deo,
It's
okay.
DECEM, right?
No, I say Dios or Deus, and either one means God, and neither one of them means 10 in Spanish.
Spanish. I misunderstood.
Yes. Yeah, yes. She teaches me, she's still desperately trying to teach me to learn Spanish.
Oh, I think it's Dios.
Yeah. And but that's God. And I'm still trying to learn how to count in Spanish.
DIOS.
DIOS, doesn't that mean God in Spanish?
I thought that's what you were trying to say.
That's what I always say, which is
yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
I think what I want to say is dies, but
You
that's
want to say dies in
yeah, but
order
that's
to
not what
say
it means
10
in
in
Spanish,
Spanish.
right? In Latin, that doesn't mean the same thing, right?
No, it does not. It means day.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Anyway, dies brevissimus est ante diem octem calendas Januarius. The shortest day of the year is the 8th day before the calends of January, which is actually December 25th, which in the first century was correct. Mane initium diei, so we've got nominative, accusative. Mane initium diei, that's genitive. Est, the beginning of the day is try that again. Morning is the beginning of the day. Diei primo Januarii nomen est calendae Januarii. Januarii. So, in other words, the first day of January is the calends. The name of the first day in January is the calends of January. Ab eo die incipit novus annus. From that day begins the new year. Now, notice I mentioned this, that the is ea id, which we use as he, she, or it, can also be used as an adjective, saying this or that. Mense junio dies lonely sunt. The month of January is the longest day.
Wait,
Junius,
you mean June, don't you?
did I say June?
Yeah, you
I
said
said,
January.
what should I say?
I thought you were saying Mense Junio. Isn't that June?
Yeah.
Okay, you said January.
Oh, I did. I got stuck on January. Sorry. Yes, the month of June has is the longest day. Junius, July 30th. July has 30 days. Okay. Anyway, you will see the word dies quite frequently in liturgy, etc. And Psalm 117, Haec est dies quam fecit Dominus. This is the day that the Lord has made. Exultemus et laetemur in ea. Let us exalt and rejoice in it. So, as I said, it's kind of similar to the third declension, uh,
Michael,
in the plural, anyway.
Michael,
Yeah.
thank you for doing it in the correct order.
Yeah, I reordered it.
That
I
that's
thought about it for a long time and I decided that I will depart from the book on that
thank you.
because the difficulty is you always see it in the nominative and the genitive cases in the dictionary. So
Well, it just makes sense. The
yeah,
ending is always listed first nominative and second genitive.
yeah. And that, by the way, was that particular order was developed by Latin grammarians from antiquity. So I'm not entirely sure why some people decided to put accusative second. I guess the idea is it was easier to think about or something. I don't know. But
But after several months of remembering it that way, it was pretty darn hard to think of it otherwise.
yeah. So anyway, but getting back to third declension. So you see,
I agree. After my granddaughter teaching me to count to 10 in Spanish, this is hopelessly confusing to me to change the word.
yeah. So anyway, there are the various declensions. Write them out. As I said, fourth declension nouns are usually, fifth declension nouns are invariably feminine. Fourth declension nouns are invariably masculine, like spiritus. There are a few feminine ones, domus, home, and there are only six neuter fourth declension nouns. So
Are you saying DS is feminine?
dies can be either.
Okay.
Um,
I was thinking when I first saw it, I thought that it was masculine just the way it is in Spanish.
it can be either. If it is in the Vulgate, it's probably feminine more often than not. But it can go either way. And in fact, if you look in Scriba here and we do Latin and we do dies, there, you'll see that it says, whoops, all right, where did it say it? Usually it says masculine or feminine. Dies, All right, we've got to get past all this preamble stuff. Uh, Curious. I do not see it in there. Why not? Oh, there it is. Says it up there. Sorry, I'm blind. Yeah, masculine, feminine, fifth declension. Can be masculine, can be feminine. Dies primus. Okay, there's an example of it being the masculine form. And if you go into the Vulgate, I'm sure you would say dies prima on the first day. So just be advised. Let's see what else. The comparative, comparativus et superlativus. As I said, we covered some of this earlier, but Latin, like English, has a comparative and superlative form for its adjectives. The comparative form is the more of form, okay, like uh, big, bigger, and typically you add an ER for most adjectives in English. Fast, faster, slow, slower, sleepy, sleepier. And then the superlative form is the most form. So fastest, in English, you often add an EST, fastest, fast, fastest, slow, slowest, sleepy, sleepiest. And as I said, most English adjectives follow this ER and EST form. Of course, there's also some irregular ones. But for the comparativus, we have two endings, IOR for masculine and feminine, and IUS for neuter. So take any nice adjective, like longus, long, longior, longa, longior, longum, longius. And actually, I really ought to make that a NY sound, longius. I can't quite wrap my palate around that. Paucus, paucior, pauca, paucior. So said IOR for masculine and feminine. So that's pretty easy. Paucum, paucius. So IUS for the neuter. Brevus, brevior, brevus, brevior, breve, brevius. As I said, there are some irregular ones. The one that you're probably going to run into the most is bonus, good, melior, better. The IOR and IUS endings all decline like third declension nouns. So there's no new special endings there.
Michael,
Yeah.
just going back a step, on page 109 of the text, I knew I had to have seen this somewhere. Towards the bottom of the text.
Okay,
Oh,
this is 13.
yeah,
Do you know which?
it's in chapter 13. It's page 109.
Okay, let's see here. I may have to go to the
Not the
next
reader,
section.
but the text.
Yeah, I'm going to guess it's this one. Let's see if I go too far. Oh, did you say page 109?
No, in the text, the the companion. That's what I'm referring to as the text.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. What about it?
Okay, it just says it introduces the fifth declension nouns and in particular DS, and it says the nouns of this declension are feminine except for DS,
Yeah,
which is masculine.
right.
And then they say paren in special senses and in late Latin DS is feminine.
Yep.
So I knew I wasn't crazy that I had seen this somewhere, and it was in the beginning of the chapter 13.
Yeah, it could be either.
But they're making the point that the majority of the time it's masculine.
Right, in classical Latin.
Okay, because they say in special senses and in
Yeah.
late it's
Yeah,
feminine.
in if you look at in the Vulgate, you'll see that it is invariably feminine.
Okay, and that's considered
That's the
more
special case. Yeah.
special case. Okay. All right. Sorry for the interruption. I just thought I
No,
would
that's
point.
okay. That's okay. Let's see. Where was I? Oh, here they are. So here's the comparative. We had these last chapter, but I thought I'd review them. As I said, third declension noun. So longior, longioris, longiori, longiorum, longiore for masculine, singular, and then so longiores, longiorum, longioribus, and that is virtually identical to. I'm going to go ahead and copy this and pop that over here. Let's see here. There we go. So you can see the E, the I, well, I guess not. That's right. DAE. Well, plurals. Yeah, I'm sorry. I said plurals. That's right. So longiores, dies, longiorum, dierum, longioribus, diebus, dies, and diebus. So they're, similar. So, but superlatives, this is the one thing that is new in chapter 13. And all superlatives end in isimus, eribus, or limus, depending upon the base adjective. So, for example, longus longior, longissimus. Okay. For the masculine, for the feminine, longa, longior, longissima, neuter, longum, longius, longissimum. So long, longer, longest. So there's an example of an isimus. The erimus will be depends on what your final ending is there. The limus are for those that end in like an lis, so facilis, facili, facilior, and facilimus. So if you were to take a facilis and put in a facilissimus, that's kind of cumbersome. So they chop out that and just leave it as a limus. So, and the nice thing about these is these are all declined as first and second declension adjectives. So longissimus, etc., facilimus, facilima, facilimum. So
Yeah, another way to look at it is the U.S. Is your second declension
yep.
masculine, your A is your first declension feminine, your
Mhm.
UN is your second declension neuter. So
Yep.
that's one way to remember it.
Yep, exactly. Oh, and my wife has dropped off again. Oh well, we'll see what happens. And I put together some comparative and superlative just to show some examples there. Oh yeah, and I mentioned, sorry, I did mention the erimus. So if you got something that ends with an R, then typically like acrior, acrid, sharp, it will become acerimus, or pulcher, beautiful, pulchrior, pulcherimus. And then the fatulus will have the double L. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the double Limus in the superlative. There are irregulars. These are common ones. Bonus becomes melior and optimus. Malus becomes peior and pessimus. Is there a question? Okay. Parvus, little, becomes minor and minimus. And then Manus, Major, and Maximus, Multus, Plus, and Plurimus. So Ursa Major, or in English, Ursa Major, the big bear,
Mhm.
of which the Big Dipper is part of. And then there is Ursa Minor, or Ursa Minor, which is the little bit dipper. Well, actually, it means the bigger dipper and the littler dipper is what that means. Or sorry,
We
bear. I
we
got.
can start correcting people.
Don't bother. I found it rather depressing that astronomers apparently do not study their Latin, and so it's Ursa Major.
Well, it would be fun to someone who considers themselves, a great astronomer,
Yeah,
on occasion.
Oh,
they.
just don't ask me about the medical show I was watching where
Oh
they
yeah,
completely butchered the Latin.
yeah. They basically use English pronunciation for Latin terms. And
Is this where we get the word Ursula?
no, Ursula is well, Ursa is bear. Okay,
Yes.
as in the animal.
So
Ursula is a diminutive of it. So Ursula.
so Jenny is right.
At least I think so. Hold on. Ursa may not have it in here. Uh, da, da, da. Well, okay. Ursula is a diminutive form. We haven't gotten to diminutive forms yet. So, okay.
Well, we sort of have, but
Not really. Not the okay. For example, let's see. We've had
So you would say Ursulissima for
No,
the smallest bear?
no, no. That would be the barest bear. That'd be the sperling. No, no, no. Let's see. I'm trying to give let's see. I think we've had uxor, haven't we? Wife. Let me look. Did
I
we have?
think so.
Yes.
Okay. So, if you wanted, let's see if it's in the dictionary. I don't know if they're going to do, um,
So you're gonna look up wifely or
oh, there it is.
wife
Yeah, there's
wifeliness?
uxor, wife, spouse, consort. But there is another word, uxorcula, which means little wife. Now, in
Yes,
English, that probably comes across as being
it
patronizing.
definitely does.
Yeah, like, oh, the little wife here. But in Latin, that was a
The
term of
wifey.
endearment.
It doesn't translate very
Doesn't
well.
translate well into English these days. Yeah. So you may have mel is honey, mel is honey in Latin. And so sometimes you would say melita, my little honey. And seriously, it was a term of endearment. It was not considered rude or
No, honey is still a reasonable
yeah,
term of endearment.
yeah. And so that's how the little coffee pot became known as a melita because it was a little honey of a coffee maker, so to speak. Okay, now the other thing we've had,
Oh, that makes sense.
interesting. In some legal deeds, it says et ux to refer to the wife. Well, it should be uxor because
I
just
know.
ux is,
Maybe it's a shortened.
it must be because
There,
yeah, I
there
don't
are a lot
see,
of old deeds, a lot of old legal deeds
yeah.
when, um, well, maybe a century ago, some of them referred that way.
Well, and it might have been an abbreviation that sort of lost the abbreviation.
Or once again, just a mistranslation.
No, I bet it probably became, I think they probably just were abbreviating it.
And they just stopped putting the period after
Yeah,
the,
like etc. etc.
right.
is et cetera. So they just write etc as the abbreviation. I don't know. I mean, I'm just suggesting that. Now, one of the things we got is we have the imperfect tense now, or uh we up till now we've had all present tense verbs. So we had est and sunt. So Britannia insula est. Britain is an island. Okay. Uh, Now we have erat and erant. And so what is the imperfect? It's not entirely the past tense. The past tense is known as the perfect tense, which means the action was completed in the past. So, for example, I walked to the store. Okay. That's something that occurred in the past. The imperfect is a little more subtle in that it indicates an action that has gone over a period of time or has happened frequently. In English, we translated it by using the was or were plus the ing of the verb. So I might say, I was walking to the store. Doesn't exactly say when this occurred. It could be last week. It could have been 5 minutes ago. You can also use it in English. We would say, I used to walk to the store, meaning this was something I did repeatedly. For now, don't get too hung up on that. We're going to use it as kind of a simple past, like Julius, whoops, extra I in there. Julius Caesar vir Romanus erat. Julius Caesar was a Roman man. Okay. And if you ever attended a extraordinary form, the last gospel, in principio erat verbum. In the beginning was the word. Okay. So this is really quite oh, Sophia.
Michael, you still there?
Yep. Salve,
Okay.
Sophia. Wasn't B day. Oh, okay. Well, I guess she's still connecting. So anyway, yeah, this is the important we need really to really appreciate liturgical Latin. You need the imperfect and the perfect tense and the future tense, and for that matter, a few other things. But so this is an important start in filling in some of the tenses. Now,
Now I'm chuckling thinking about our daughter Libby's infamous.
yes, ruined
They
Romans.
Yeah, the ruined Romans were looking at the picture. No, what was it? The farmers were looking at the pictures of the ruined Romans, which was
Yeah,
not what the sentence was.
yeah, something like that. So anyway, yes, ad verbum apud Deum. So you see, actually now you have had that entire first line. In principio erat verbum, et verbum apud Deum. We've had apud, we've had verbum, we've had erat. Technically, I don't think we've had in principio,
Oh,
technically.
I left out the erat again. Sorry. It's just at verbum erat
Erat
up.
apud Deum. Yeah, I know what you meant. So, uh, but as we add the imperfect, one thing you need to keep in mind is, well, all right, this is the full conjugation here. So far, we've kind of stuck with third person singular and plurals, est and sunt. So um, we're also going to be picking up shortly the first and second person. I don't think it's next chapter. Well, actually, yes, it is. Now that I think about it. So sum, sumus, sum I am, sumus, es, estis, est, sunt. Whereas the imperfect is very regular. Eram, eras, erat, eramus, eratus, erant. Now, the reason I mention this is remember most, must, isn't. And the reason for that is the first person ends or an M or an O, depending upon the tense. Amo, I love. I'm a bomb. I was loving. That's the imperfect. So it's an M or an O, but second person always ends in an S. Third person always ends at a T. First person plural always ends in an MUS. Second person plural always ends in a TIS, and third person plural always ends in an NT. And that is true of every active voice verbs throughout the all of the conjugations. So if you could remember, you can remember a couple different. You can remember it as most, must, isn't. That kind of breaks it up, or most, must, isn't. However you want to remember it. That will help you remember what those endings are, and that's why I'm filling them in. Even sum and essay, which is this is irregular. Even that holds like M, S, T, moose, tis, and int. And it's also true of the imperfect M, S, T, moose, tis, and int. So even if you see an unfamiliar verb in a text, you can immediately pick up which should hopefully be able to pick up which person it is pretty quickly. So
But just about every language, sunt or to be is irregular.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm not aware of any language, maybe, or Esperanto, it's probably regular because they invented the language. But yeah, certainly there's no language that I ever learned where it was regular. But at least with Latin, the endings are consistent. So that's some help.
But that's just the active voice.
Yes, there is no passive voice form of the verb to be.
Oh, I didn't. I just when you were saying for all
Oh,
verbs,
right, right. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Then if we're doing passive voice, then we got to do um the tours for
right?
third person
The
singular
R
and
endings,
the untours for third person plural.
right?
And yeah, passive voice follows a very different uh set of rules. But we'll start with the
Active
first and
voice.
second active. Yeah. And actually for the passive voice verbs, those endings are the same across all of the passive voice. So well here, let me drag this out here just to show you. All right, where's my nice handy table? All right, hold on now. I'm going to let me redo the share here. Give me just a second here. Oh, where is it? Where is it? Share? There we go. Okay. All right. So if we go up to the ARE verbs, okay, this is indicative active. You can see the OST mustusint, MST mustusint, OST mustusint. So you can see all the active voice verbs there all end in the same endings. You just fiddle with uh, the vowel there after the base, the stem of the verb. For passive, this is also true. Amor, amatur, amamur, amameni, amantur. And for the imperfect, amabantur, sorry, I'm a bantur, the more mini tour. So these are all okay. Now, when we hit the perfect tense, there is a change, but that's when they actually become what amounts to an adjective. So at least for the present, imperfect, and future, you're going to have the mers and the minis. Let me put it that way. So. Let's see here. All right, let me go back to what I was sharing. And what was the other one? Oh dear, I lost. Yoo-hoo, where'd it go? All right, where did, hold on, let me close some windows here. I seem to have lost my browser window. There it is. Okay, this is not, oh, all right, hold on. Let me fix something here. Here, here. There we go. Familia Romana. Okay, there we go. That's better. Not sure what else to add here. Are there any questions on chapter 13 or previous material for that matter?
Thank you for the vocabulary.
Yeah.
That
Well,
makes
that'll help so you can, review them.
yeah. I don't have
They
to
tend to,
keep flipping through.
yeah, they tend, as they build new vocabulary, they certainly use the old stuff, but there's some things that they just sort of let go by the wayside. Um, let's see, what else was I going? Oh, I remember now. So we can go to, let me go to the, let's see, I want chapter 13, the Grammatica Latina. I know it's in here someplace. Oh, there it is. Yeah, here, move that up. Yeah, so anyway, I pretty much covered everything that was in there. The new stuff in terms of the grammar is the declinatio quinta, or the fifth declension, and then the superlativus. Those are the actual new grammatical items. But then there are 50 words of new vocabulary. So, I don't know how far have people gotten here.
Do you mean in
Uh,
the reading?
not far enough for 50 new
Not far enough for 50 new
vocabulary
words.
words.
Yeah, about 50, more or less. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, tell you what, we will have, since you're also filled with questions, I thought you might be amused. Connor wasn't here when I showed Chat GPT last time. So I thought so we'll do that here. Here we go. So, salve, quid agit. Salve, bene valeo, gratias, quid date, or quid date, bene. I'm, all right, here's one. Schisne, Familia Romana. Do you know the, the Familia? Oop, F-M-I-L-I. Whoop, let me get an I in there. There we go. Apparently, it's been trained on it.
Wow.
Ita vero, truly, Familia Romana est primos liber in serie lingua latina per se illustrata a Hans Orberg scriptus. So it's the first book in the series of the Latin language through illustrations or pictures. Oh, we lost Sophie. This must just be a bad internet day for everybody. People keep dropping
I
off.
just I was so the electrician is here and
Oh,
he turned off the all the lights and so the power went out and then my connection went off. I'm sorry.
oh, that's all right. That's all right.
It might happen again in like a couple minutes. I'm not sure.
Okay. What I have is Chat GPT up, and it seems that Chat GPT does know about the Familia Romana. Let's see, where was I? Okay, this book is the Preclaris. Premier might be a good way of translating that. Op modum docende lingua latinam sine ulla translazione. It's the premier book for the method of teaching the Latin language without any
Without
translation.
translation. Yeah.
It's, id est omnia explicantur per linguam latinam ipsam. And it's designed to be self-explanatory as you read through, more or less. Narratio de Familia Romana, Julio Emilia, oops. Oh, I see. Liberis Eon. Okay, so talks about Julia, Amelia, their children, and the servants. So, what can we ask? So we can say, quis est Julius? Let's see, did he put a J there? I don't, yeah, no, he didn't. Julius. There we go. Julius says paterfamilias. We've had paterfamilias. He's the head of the family in Familia Romana. Est vir Romanus, paterfamiliae et dominus villae. He is the father of the family and the master of the villa. Julius est maritus Aemiliae. Julius is married to Aemilia. Et pater trium liberorum. He is the father of 3 children. Marci Quinti et Juliae. Praeteriae servos habet qui in villa et agris eius laborant. He also has servants in the villa and in the fields, in his fields that work. Sorry, in his fields. Try it. Per historius in libro Julius sepe apparera solet ad exemplar patris Romani qui filiam suum curat et negotia administrat. So through the stories in the book, or the histories in the book, histories and stories are kind of the same word there. Julius often appears to be an example of Roman fatherhood. So,
Can you ask if Metis is a bad servant?
That'd be interesting, actually.
Medus improbus, Improbus. Esne Medus improbus. By the way, we will come back to Medus and Lydia. Ita Medus est servus improbus in familia Romana. In libro Medus sepe contrarius est bonus moribus. Medus is often contrary to good behavior, customs, mores. In re vera, in una fabula narrantur, quomodo pecuniam domini sui Iuli furtatus sit. So in one story that is told, how he steals basically the money of his master Julius.
Mhm.
So anyway, yeah. So
Pretty good.
yeah. So now the one thing I've also found that ChatGPT does much better at translating from Latin to English than does Google Translate. Anyway. So anyway, okay. Yeah, try and keep up with the homework. The next class, proxime classes, non est August 15th, because that is the Feast of the Assumption and a holy day of obligation. So about this, well, maybe not quite at 8:30. I forget when the extraordinary form mass starts. Usually it's about 7, I think. I'll look it up. But anyway, so we'll have we'll skip that, and then we will go to the 22nd, and we will start on capitulum quartum decimum novus dies pars prima. This is where Marcus goes to school. Quintus, if you remember, fell out of a tree and he's not doing too well, so he doesn't go to school. And so that's what the Novus Dies is. So with that, now that's
This was the
Quartum decimum.
medical
Quintum
malpractice.
decimum is Magister et Discipuli, where he's actually in school, the teacher and the students. Then sextum decimum tempestas is where we will see videbimus Medum et Lydiam iterum, where we will see Medus and Lydia again. In fact, we'll see Medus and Lydia appear in the various chapters all the way through the end of the book. So with that in mind, I will mute everybody, and we will do our oratio finalis. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum, adveniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua, sicut in cielo et in terra. Panem nostrum quotidianum da nobis hodie, et dimite nobis debita nostra, sicut et nos dimitimus debitoribus nostris, et ne nos inducas in tentationem, sed libera nos a malo. Amen. And that is the end of the official class. I will